So what is the capital of Saudi Arabia? The capital of Saudi Arabia is Riyadh. R-I-Y-A-D-H. So Riyadh. No wonder people don't learn what the fucking capital of Saudi Arabia is. It's got that weird H. I mean, it looks like Riyadh with an H at the end. Riyadh. I don't know. But that's the capital of Saudi Arabia, because I read, that Raytheon made a deal, and they're going to be constructing their, bomb-making facility, which is an American corporation, in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia's capital. Quick correction, Ankara is the capital of Turkey, not Istanbul. In one of my other videos, I had said, I had speculated that Istanbul, which is where that not Manhattan, but the Manchester bomber came from. He went to Libya 5 days prior, and possibly to Syria, and then through Turkey, he stopped by in Germany, and then went to the UK. So he's, basically flying all over the world. But anyways, I just wanted to make that correction. That's one good thing actually about making these videos, even if nobody watches them. If nobody watches any of these videos that I make, I'm getting smarter and smarter. And then eventually, I'll pop off with a video, and then you guys will be like, well, where the hell did he come up with all this? Well, I've been talking about it the entire time. So Raytheon. Donald Trump owns stock in Raytheon. Well, what is Raytheon? Well, Raytheon is to Wikipedia, the Raytheon company is a major U.S. defense contractor, industrial corporation with core manufacturing concentrations in weapons and military and commercial electronics. It was previously involved in corporate and special mission aircraft until early 2007. Raytheon is the world's largest producer of guided missiles. Guided missiles, right? Bombs over Baghdad, missiles. This is what we're giving to Saudi Arabia, so that way they can keep on bombing the shit out of Yemen and continue to make 9/11 terrorists and continue to spread Wahhabism and extremist ideology. You're talking about being against radical terrorism, and then you give them $110, $120 or $120 billion arms deal. A billion. So that's great, right? Oh, Raytheon's going to make a shit ton of money off of that deal, and Donald Trump owns stock in it. So he's Raytheon Company was established in 1922. The company reincorporated in 1928 and adopted its present name in 1959. Why'd they have to change their name? The company has around 63,000 employees worldwide and annual revenues of approximately $25 billion. More than 90% of Raytheon's revenues were obtained from military contracts. And of 2012, it was the 5th largest military contractor in the world. As of 2015, it is the 3rd largest defense contractor in the United States by defense revenue. Raytheon's headquarters moved from Lexington, Massachusetts to Waltham, Massachusetts in 2003. The company was previously headquartered in Cambridge, Massachusetts from 1922 to 1928, Newton, Massachusetts from 1928 to 1941, Waltham from 1941 to 1961, Lexington from 1961 to 2000. Raytheon is also publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange. So it's a corporation, and they're trying to make money. And whereas there's political, fallout from supporting a terrorist nation that created, most of the 9/11 terrorists, with Raytheon, they're bragging about it. Go to their website. They're like, Raytheon broadens partnership with Saudi Arabia. The pact will focus on indigenous defense and technology development. So when Saudi Arabia probably needs to be liberated because they are, the streets were quiet, when Donald Trump went there. So that's because protest is, you're a terrorist if you dissent in Saudi Arabia. So, they got a shit ton of money, so they just buy influence, right, with soft power, but they're bad fucking people. In a ceremony witnessed by the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin, capital of Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. You had the King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud and Donald Trump and Raytheon Company and the Saudi Arabian Military Industrials Company signed a memorandum of understanding to cooperate on defense-related projects and technology development. The agreement will enable continued global growth for Raytheon in key market areas such as air defense systems, smart munitions, C4I systems, and cybersecurity of defense systems and platforms. This partnership will also contribute directly to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's localized defense ecosystem with regional expert capabilities and will provide a long-term foundation for Saudi Arabia's economic development. This strategic partnership is the next step in our over 50-year relationship with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and a strong indicator. And if we wanted to do the humanitarian thing, right, since we're an empire, why not be a benevolent empire? I think it would be a step in the right direction. But if we're going to be an empire, then it seems like Saudi Arabia would be a country, that should have been Afghanistan, Iraq, Yemen, all these other countries that the 9/11 terrorists didn't come from, and plus high-ranking officials financed the 9/11 terrorists. So we're giving them $120, billion arms deal. This is, let's just, they're proud of this shit. We're going to help them build a world-class defense and cyber capabilities in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. They've been doing it for 50 years. 50 years, Raytheon has been building Saudi Arabia up. So if we were to invade Saudi Arabia, we would be fighting against our own fucking weapons. So they said that they plan to establish Raytheon Arabia, a Saudi legal entity. In 2016, Raytheon had made $24 billion, and they have 63,000 employees, right? So they're providing jobs to technology and innovation leader specialized. Okay, so they are implementing programs to create indigenous defense, aerospace, security capabilities. They want to establish Raytheon Arabia, which is a Saudi legal entity wholly owned by Raytheon. So it's, a Saudi legal entity, so they filed, the corporation under the Saudi government, but Raytheon gets to make all the profits. So all the profits will go back to the CEO and, the employees, right? Hopefully, right? It always trickles down. That's always how Reaganomics works, the trickle-down theory. So we have, so the history of innovation. So we're basically helping terrorists. We finance terrorism. The 9/11 terrorists. We haven't stopped terrorism. I asked him about Saudi Arabia. He goes, man, they pay me $40-50 million for my hotels. I love Saudi Arabia. Why wouldn't I love Saudi Arabia? Because they pay you. They pay him so he gets to line his own pockets. But when it comes to politics, we've got to make a strict distinction about just a corporation that just wants to make a shit ton of profits versus a politician that actually wants to do good for the United States. So when Donald Trump drops bombs in Syria, he gets money for that. When he drops bombs in Yemen, he gets paid through the Raytheon stock. That's a conflict of interest, and it's bullshit. So he owns stock in the Tomahawk missiles he used in Syria. When he uses Tomahawk missiles, he makes money. Later on, he'll say he's got his assets in a blind trust. Later in the Chicago Tribune said it wasn't. His financial entanglements have been, the focus of consistent controversy for, obvious reasons. He's been accused of, we're basically watching Trump order military action into these foreign countries, and he gets a direct financial benefit from it. So he's owned, man. He is owned by foreign companies. He's owned by the wealthy lobbyists here and abroad. Last night, let's see, this is from Palmer Report in April 7th, 2017. It says that he had fired 59 Tomahawk missiles at a Syrian air base. But according to the Washington Post, they're a poor choice of weaponry under these circumstances because Russia has S-400 surface-to-air defense technology in place in Syria, which could easily have shot them down. In addition, Reuters is reporting that the Syrian air base was barely harmed, and it is already back to operational capacity today because the Tomahawks were aimed at the least important targets on the base. The least important, what the fuck was this? It was just a symbolic strike. A symbolic strike. It was a show for the TV. Look how strong he is. Look what he's doing, right? Look at these war crimes he's committed. He's such a smart guy. And instead of actually doing any real damage. So he's firing off, nearly 50 Tomahawk missiles, which did no harm whatsoever. But now Raytheon needs to construct some more stuff. So basically, Is he just doing it just to make some money? He owns, stock in Raytheon. So, the more Tomahawk missiles he fires, the more money he makes. So the Tomahawk missiles are manufactured by Raytheon. Donald Trump owns stock in Raytheon up through at least the start of the presidential election cycle. There's no record that he subsequently sold the stock. Tomahawks that Trump just burned up will have to be replaced, meaning he just handed a nearly $100 million payday to a company he owns stock in. Not surprisingly, shares of Raytheon spiked today, meaning he's directly profiting from his Tomahawk missile costs. In this article here, hangthebankers.com, I'm sure this is legit. They're actually talking about, the strikes, and they said that there's 59 Tomahawk missiles fired by the U.S. Navy by order of Trump at a Syrian air base in Homs, cost somewhere between $800,000 and $1.4 million per missile. So actually, it cost $1.5 billion. $1.5 billion. So we got billions of dollars to drop fucking bombs, but we don't have any goddamn money for our health care? No fucking money for our health care. $1.5 billion because of the 59 Tomahawk missiles that he dropped, and they weren't even the right missiles. They were wholly ineffective, but Raytheon made a shit ton of money. So Trump is making money. He's making deals. His daughter's, getting the women's club. Saudi Arabia is giving her money for brags that today's Tomahawk Block 4 cruise missile can circle for hours, shift course instantly on command, and beam a picture of its target to controllers halfway around the world before striking with pinpoint accuracy. Circle for hours, shift course on command, beam a picture of its target to the controllers. Tomahawk can be launched from a ship or submarine and can fly to heavily defended airspace more than 1,000 miles away to conduct precise strikes on high-value targets with minimal collateral damage. Launching the weapon from such long distance helps to keep sailors out of harm's way. Right? So I don't know what the better missile would have been. According to that one article, it wasn't. It wasn't effective. The strike wasn't effective whatsoever. So he also owns stock or has owned stock in Apple, Nike, Whole Foods, Google, Philip Morris, McDonald's, Facebook, Morgan Stanley. I thought he said we were told that he put it into a blind trust and then his kids are taking care of the business dealings now, right? So, but we don't have any evidence of it. Supposedly he liquidated his assets. We haven't seen any proof of it, and supposedly we won't see any proof of it until next year. We need to know, has he put them in conflict-free assets, or has he bought other stocks or assets that would create new conflicts? So the ethics counselor to the President Obama, it's all the more reason that we need a prompt and full financial disclosure. If he did liquidate all of his stocks, what did he do with the money? What bank is the money in? What did he buy? It's a lot of money. According to the Business Insider, shares of Raytheon gained 3.54 points, a roughly 2.3% increase in pre-market trading following Thursday night strike. So the stock went up. The stock went up. Like, hell yeah, look at this. The war machine is, cooking. It's up and running. Check this guy out, okay? He hasn't paid taxes for 20 years because he's a shitty businessman. He failed. He bankrupted his company. He was $1 billion in debt, so now he doesn't get to pay. He don't have to pay taxes now. So Raytheon closed at $150 on Friday, and then it opened $155 later, which means that they made $1.5 billion in one day. Lockheed Martin and Boeing also saw similar gains. So that's important. It's important because if the stock market is rallying behind the war machine, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Raytheon. According to Trump's most recent financial disclosure report, his stock holdings were held in accounts with Barclays, Oppenheimer, J.P. Morgan, and Deutsche. I think it means German, the German bank, central bank. However, the way that the disclosure from the FEC is structured only, instead of actually seeing that the war on terror actually is fueling a lot of this terrorism, instead of seeing that our foreign policy and the bombs that we're dropping actually fuels terrorism, we're actually escalating the war. We're escalating the war in Afghanistan. We're financing, we're trying to put money into Venezuela. So the CIA is just everywhere. The tentacles are anywhere and everywhere, and you're going to try to tell me the empire is going to be, they're going to kill innocent people. They already have killed innocent people, and it's making our situation worse. So thanks to, let's see, they're dropping bombs. So you have that Saudi Arabians $120 billion deal where, they can, Raytheon's going to be dropping bombs on schools and hospitals in Yemen with our, airstrikes too. And then they're dropping hundreds of bombs in Iraq and Syria as well. So that's what we're doing, right? We're dropping bombs in Iraq and Syria, Saudi Arabia. I guess maybe now they could just do the killing with. Keep on finding old tweets that Donald Trump had used to criticize Obama, and then he does the exact same thing. So what a fucking hypocrite, right? Just says whatever he needs to say in order to get the office, and then, I'll do great. Just trust me. Trust me, man. The president must get congressional approval before attacking Syria. Big mistake if he does not. He must get congressional approval. Trump didn't get congressional approval. He's a war criminal. Why would you get congressional approval if you're a war criminal? The authorization to use force was for George W. Bush, not for Obama, not for Trump. In fact, Obama couldn't even get the authorization to use force against ISIS. But here we are in a war against ISIS because, fuck the American people, fuck Congress. Presidents can do as the fuck as they say, or as the fuck as they want. Trump says that what I'm saying is stay out of Syria. Let me be clear. The U.S. should not go into Syria. Yes, bomb Syria. 4 years ago, August 30th, 2013, if Obama attacks Syria and innocent civilians are hurt and killed, he and the U.S. will look very bad. Again, in all caps, to our foolish leader, do not attack Syria. If you do, many very bad things will happen, and from that fight, the U.S. gets nothing. President Obama, do not attack Syria. September 7, 2013, there is no upside and tremendous downside. Save your powder for another and more important day. Why do we keep broadcasting that we're going to attack Syria? Why can't we just be quiet and if we attack at all, catch them by surprise? No, dopey. I would not go into Syria, but if I did, it'd be a surprise and not blurt it all over the media like fools. Now that Obama's poll numbers are in a tailspin, watch for him to launch a strike in Libya or Iran. He is desperate. So we get to see his mind when he's projecting. This is what he's doing. When his poll numbers are down, watch him. OpenSecrets.org. So far, $3.1 million have been contributed to politicians, and then lobbying power. They've, in 2015 they spent $6 million. In 2016 they spent $5 million. So they're actually most of the money for for Raytheon goes into lobbying, not into corporate or funding candidates. But check this out. Check out who he funded. Okay, so Hillary Clinton got most of the money with $88,000. Kelly YUUUGE, she got $47,000. Don't even know who that is. John McCain got $44,000 from Raytheon. Ted Cruz got $41,000. Bernie Sanders got $37,000 from Raytheon. No wonder he's all about the war in Kosovo and Yugoslavia, and he was okay with the Iraq Liberation Act under Clinton. So bombs over Baghdad, Bernie Sanders had supported, and then Donald. Apparently, he's worth $33 million to $88 million. That's a pretty broad range, right? He's not a billionaire; he's a millionaire. Between $33 million to $88 million, right? Because the one man needs all that money. His stock holdings are in Barclays, Oppenheimer, J.P. Morgan, Deutsche Bank. The Barclays account include investments in 32 entities in cash, worth between $49,000 and then there's and $396,000. It's weird that there's a weird range, right? How much you worth? Well, $33 million to $90 million. In between there. Is this a riddle? Or you want me to guess? So his two accounts with I gotta learn that word. Deutsche Bank are worth between $21.7 million and $51.6 million. So most of his money is in a foreign bank, Deutsche Bank. So I'm sure he's going to be, So you have, in his account with Oppenheimer, Trump has cash at 31 positions between $10 million and $33 million at J.P. Morgan. Trump has one account with stock in 60 firms worth between $1.2 million and $2.6 million. According to the report, Trump's investment across a wide spectrum of industries with technology companies, financial firms, defense contractors, and energy all represented in his portfolio. Trump also owns stock in many well-known companies, including Apple, Nike, Whole Foods, Google, Philip Morris, Raytheon, Facebook, and Morgan Stanley, among others. So they put out a statement. It was like, look, it only looks like he's worth between $30 to $90 million, but that's because the SEC forms just doesn't allow for this multi-fucking billionaire. They said he's worth more than $10 billion. What a dick, man. He is such a fucking lying piece of shit. I guess he may own a couple billion. So you have the Wall Street Journal that says that he has assets that are worth at least $1.5 billion, and then Forbes estimates his net worth at $4 billion. So it's not, all this wealth isn't just in stocks. In fact, I read an article, I want to say from the Rolling Stones, where he said that he just, doesn't even engage in the stock market. What a fucking liar, man. What a fucking liar. So he has $30 to $90 million in stocks. His assets apparently are $1.5 billion. And then the newspaper said this includes over 500 entities in which he is a trustee, president, chairman, or member, and 391 of those entities are named with the word Trump or his initials. So, I don't know. If he's a trustee or president, is he, I don't know. Fuck Trump, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Fuck Trump. Impeach Trump